Hey guys, JB here from Alpha Wolf Consulting, coming to you today with the Introduction to Learning, Development and Course Creation course, where we go through some advanced understandings of advanced learning and development practices so that you're able to sort of understand and comprehend at an advanced rate, but also how to translate your knowledge into courses. So, in this course, I'm going to give you a deep understanding not only on how to create and structure your first course, but my goal is to give you the ability to communicate and connect with your students on a deeper level through creating high quality course content. So, content that is engaging with your potential buyers or your potential students, depending on how you're doing it. And think about it like this. We can create courses, but a course is just a way to transfer understanding and meaning to a potential buyer, a potential student, or someone who you wish to share and elevate their understanding in. So this course will cover understanding what is a course. So, what is the purpose and nature of a course, and how does a course sort of, or how does the structure of a course serve to elevate and the understanding of, your potential buyers? And when we think about this, we're just thinking of this in the context of business. Okay. So we're not thinking of it in the context of like schooling. We're thinking of it in the context of business, where I might have a business in, say, for example, plumbing, and I want to teach people, how to, or I want to teach, my potential workers or potential buyers on how to do like specific things. Do you sort of get it? So if we think about it like from my perspective, I create courses on sales, on personal development, so self-validation, self-belief, on sales and communication, on building sales funnels, on learning and developing. So it's a way for me to serve my clientele or my potential buyers or my buyers at a higher level by transferring information and knowledge to them. So it could be as simple as something as teaching someone how to cook or how to bake, teaching someone how to shave. Do you know what I mean? So think about it like that. It's just a way that we take a set information or a set segment of information and we just distill it and display it or present it in a way that helps us to easily and effectively communicate at the highest level so that we're able to transfer the information in knowledge that aligns to the potential buyer or the potential student or however you want to see it, but to the other individual so that they're able to comprehend and understand it through their own experiences. So when we're thinking about a course is just the structure and way in which we like present information. So we present it in a way of giving an overarching understanding or sort of like presenting an introduction so that we're introducing the conceptual framework and then we're sort of filling out the framework with the different stages. Do you know what I mean? And then we're going through and then we're putting in the advanced understandings or knowledge or the refined or sort of like niched out information. Well, so it's very important that we just understand that there are some key principles to sort of transferring information to another and and structuring our course that we just want to have it laid out in a sort of in a framework that allows for the smooth understanding and transfer of information to a potential buyer. What we also cover is what is the purpose of a course? So, with your course, should it be in anything that you want it to be in? Like, what is the primary, the main purpose or primary reason that you are structuring this information and presenting it to a potential buyer, a potential student, and things like that. Like, what are you wanting them to get out of it? So, if we thought about it like this, and we used an example of, say, for example, teaching someone how to weld, what is the skill that we are trying to disseminate to them, or the skill we're trying to transfer to them, and what is the information that we need to disseminate to them so that they're able to understand how to sort of comprehend, well, what is welding? What are the key theoretical frameworks around welding, i.e., using high amounts of heat to melt and bond metals and things like that? Do you sort of get it? And what are the technical skills that we want to share or transfer with them so that we're able to uh, like educate them on how understanding how to do what they are trying to do. Does this sort of make sense? So it's very important that when we're thinking about this, we're thinking that there are different types of courses. So there are more theoretical basis of courses. So like you could think of like economics as being more theoretical and more sort of like data driven, where we're not so much doing the hands-on experiential side of it, but we're doing more of like understanding the theoretical frameworks and things like that. Should I do a course on, for example, farming? I don't need to do too much in the way of the theoretical of how to dig a hole to plant a tree. Do you sort of get it? That would be more experiential over it. So the easiest way to segregate these two types of courses is tertiary and vocational. Vocational is usually your more hands-on, and these are more your technical and trade skills. And tertiary is more intellectual. So these are more of your theoretical and sort of intellectual skills. So like understanding how to do advanced, mathematics or something like that. Do you know what I mean? It's not overly technical in the sense that, I'm not there teaching you how to input data into a calculator. I teach you the formula of how to input the data or the framework of the formula, but it's sort of like you already know how to do it. Does this sort of make sense? So it's very easy that if we're looking to sort of segregate between the two different types of knowledge that we are looking for, we have theoretical knowledge. So understanding theoretical or intellectual sort of conceptualizations of information. And then we have experiential knowledge. And experiential knowledge is understanding the sort of like we're understanding like the actual doing of it. Does this sort of make sense? So we'll cover this in a little bit later in it. But basically, what we want to understand is like if I'm creating a course, what is the purpose of this course? Is the purpose of this course to teach theoretical frameworks or conceptual frameworks, or is it to teach like sort of like technical skills or abilities? Do you sort of get it? So like it's slightly different, even though it's the same like sort of process that we're doing where we're creating, synaptic pathways and muscle memory and things like that. But it's sort of like the difference is how we go about it. So one is done through vocal. So through me explaining and demonstrating through language. And then the other is through me demonstrating through showing you how to actually do it. Do you sort of get it? So when we're doing experiential knowledge, this would be me out there digging and showing you how to dig. Because I can explain how to dig and give you a shovel. And if you've never used a shovel before in your life, you won't understand the fundamental frameworks of it. So we just understand that in both sides, okay, so when we're thinking about theoretical knowledge, we still have to show and demonstrate people how to understand it. Do you sort of get it? But when we're thinking about experiential knowledge, we still have to understand the theory behind it. I.e., if I'm teaching you how to dig a hole, it's about understanding the physics of putting weight on a sharpened sort of like or a thinner blade and understanding how pressure and hardness of material affects softer materials and things like that. So like we're not really so much in this video going to get into it, but when we're understanding it, like what is the purpose for creating my course? What do I want the intended person to get out of it? How is this going to benefit them? Do you sort of get it? Am I teaching them how to do a task? Am I teaching them how to comprehend knowledge and understanding? Do you sort of get it? So, like, I could teach you how to do your accounting and your tax. So, like, let's say I was teaching you accrual accounting. I can teach you how to do it and say, in the spreadsheet, this is where this information goes. This is where that information goes. So you've got your expenses and your liabilities and your monthly, and then you've got your yearly expenses and liabilities, and you calculate it down into a weekly. Do you sort of get it? And then this is where your profit goes, and this is your short-term income, and this is your long-term income, and all of that. And I can teach you how to fill out the sort of like spreadsheet or the document. But it's like if you don't understand the meaning behind the individual sections, then you're learning one side of the coin. So we just understand there are two sides of the coin, theoretical understanding and knowledge, and then experiential understanding and knowledge. While they're two separate things, they both have to work. They work in conjunction with each other because they are a part of each other. Do you sort of get it? So, like, if I don't understand how to put pressure on the shovel to dig the hole or why I'm digging the hole, it sort of doesn't make sense. Because, like, I can say, yeah, I've used a shovel before, but if I don't know how to, so to speak, put proper weight on it and things like that, and like, if you want to understand this and be able to conceptualize this, think about like you're a tradie or something like that, and you've got a 14 or a 15-year-old young fella that comes on. Like, yeah, everyone's used a shovel before, but it's the effectiveness of being able to dig a hole. It's the effectiveness of being able to dig the right kind of hole. Do you sort of get it? So, like, we just understand, like, some people try and jam it in there and then do it. Do you know what I mean? Where they don't understand how to utilize their body weight and things like that, and how to utilize leverage and different things like that. So just understand, like, when we're thinking about the purpose to our course, like, what we want to understand is what are we trying to achieve within the intended person, the person who is, you know, consuming the information. Like, what are we trying to achieve within them? And it'll usually be a high level of theoretical understanding and technical understanding. Do you sort of get it? So, like, for example, you can go through any course structure, it will always be this. If you're learning accounting, you're understanding the theoretical framework, and then you're understanding the experiential or the practical side of it, the doing side of it. Do you sort of get it? If I've never filled out a spreadsheet, like a profit and loss spreadsheet or a business profit and loss statement, like I can understand all the theory all I want, but I won't understand that I won't have the effectiveness to do it, if that sort of makes sense. And then what we also look at is understanding how learning has changed with technology. So how has technology altered the way in which we learn as individuals? So things like understanding this like using Zoom, recorded videos, video learning. Do you know what I mean? In person, things like that. Understanding, the different technologies. Like before, for example, before there was Zoom and things like that, I would be able to talk to you and I could record a video, but I couldn't record the screen and show you what I'm talking about. Do you sort of get it? So like how has technology changed the way in which we learn? And the way it's changed, it's in understanding this, and the way it's changed really helps us into understanding how it aligns to how people naturally learn. Do you sort of get it? So if we think about utilizing technology in the way in which we structure our information and we present our information and all of this, what we're able to do is we're able to cover and see that the way in which we utilize technology aligns to a lot of what we do or what we naturally did. Do you sort of get it? So, like prior to Zoom, I would have a classroom and I would have people in there and I would give them a paper. Do you sort of get it? Prior to paper, we would give them tablets. Do you know what I mean? Or it would be all oral. So we just think about like technology as being a way to amplify the conceptual understanding of what we're speaking about. Does this sort of make sense? So we cover that. And then we look at the difference between the theoretical knowledge and the experiential knowledge. So understanding, you know, how we combine the two to create effective ways of communicating, because essentially that's what we want to do when we're creating courses and when we're learning and developing, is we want to understand how to utilize both theoretical knowledge and experiential knowledge so that we can help potential students, potential buyers, whoever it may be, the intended person, learn and understand and comprehend and consume at a higher rate than just, at these sort of restricted rates. Because if I just explain something to you and I don't give you any visual understandings of what I'm talking about, or I don't use my language to explain it with, for example, like a scenario or an analogy, you won't understand it as deeply as if I use it. So we understand that sort of in communicating what we are sort of trying to transfer to them, the information and the knowledge, like prior to having video or imagery, okay, what we use is analogies because analogies help us to visualize within our mind. Do you sort of get it? So just understanding the difference between theoretical and experiential knowledge allows us to elevate the way in which our information or the knowledge we present is consumed by potential buyers or potential students or the intended person. Do you sort of get it? We then cover in this course understanding different course models. So, the primary course model or the different course models that we use are going to be, you know, um, so basically the two different course models that we will use is going to be, an informational course or an accredited course. So, like one that has grading and has tests, answers, and things like that. So, where I'm asking you or I'm teaching you information and then I'm quizzing you on it. And then the other way is a different course where I'm not trying to like sort of ask you questions, but where I'm getting you to demonstrate your understandings. So, like, if we think about it like this, in school, for me to teach you something, it's like it doesn't matter how much you demonstrate, it's about how much you demonstrate on the exam that determines your understanding of the course. And then in the ungraded system, where we take grades out of it, where I want you to be able to show and demonstrate to me a high level of proficiency within it, that's the difference. Do you sort of get it? So, like, if we think about, like, for example, this as a course, there are no questions, there are no answers to be given. There is just information to be consumed and understood so that you're able to create your own conceptual frameworks for it. So when we're outside of the accredited courses, okay, where I'm not doing a graded system, it is up to you to determine the meaning of the information. I am presenting the information, and then you're going out there and you're creating the meaning behind it. So, like, for example, if I did a course on digging a hole and I teach you how to dig a hole, I could grade you and say, yeah, that's the good hole. Or I could present an information and teach you how to dig a hole, and then you determine the holes you need to dig and how you approach it. Do you sort of get it? So, like, one is where I have a hierarchical structure of this is how it's done, and the other is I have a way of being or a way of doing, and then you determine and utilize it, how it's utilized, that way of being. So it's very important to understand this, because the downside with having graded systems, okay, where your course is modeled after a specific way to do something, is it becomes like limiting. So you create a self-limiting loop where others are unable to determine external to what you're presenting. Do you sort of get it? Whereas the other is an internal, where the internal of the individual is to understand how to do the conceptual or the theoretical and the experiential. And so, like, how to understand, comprehend, reason, analyze, and then do it for themselves. And then they determine if it was effective or if it was ineffective. So, sort of like these courses that I create and this knowledge that I create. I am the one determining if it's effective or if it's not. Do you sort of get it? I'm the one determining if I've hit the right things or if I haven't. Now, if I was doing a strictly graded system where I was using, for example, we think about education and schooling and things like that. If I had to have specific things that I hit where I had course material and then I had a questionnaire and then I had a test and then from the answers given on that test, determine if it's effective or if it's not. I'm teaching people how to answer questions at a high rate. I'm not teaching them how to do what needs to be done. Does this sort of make sense? So it's just the two different models that we utilize or that we can utilize, and there's many different learning models. These are just the two that I focus on because while having a graded system can be important in being able to analyze and assess the effectiveness of someone in understanding the concepts or the topics that have been spoken about. It doesn't mean that they have proficient understanding of how to do it. Do you sort of get it? So, like, if we understand that, we just understand that, like, I can create a course to present information and be like a source of information, or I can present courses or a course to give specific information that is required for specific answers on a specific test. Do you sort of get it? The real world doesn't work like a test. A test is a sort of like never going to be or have the nuances that happen within the real world. So if we understand learning and developing, what we are trying to do is we are trying to stimulate the ability to analyze, comprehend, discern, understand, formulate understandings or ideas or approaches from that, and then execute them and then reassess or analyze. So, like, we're trying to create the theoretical framework for, or the framework for someone being able to do like complex or critical thinking within the moment to assess and then find the best way of overcoming the problems or the challenges presented to them through having structured information that helps them understand. Do you sort of get it? So that's why I lay out these courses the way I do, is because it's more effective to present the information and then allow someone to consume and digest and create it within themselves. Do you sort of get it? So, like, we also cover how to structure your course. So, when thinking about this, how is the structure you're going to sort of like, what is the structure you're going to follow in presenting the information? So, I could think of it as being that I need to have an introduction, a scope, the body of the information, a, like a hypothesis, and then like an analysis or assessment, and then a conclusion. Do you sort of get it? But think about it like this. Think about it like the course or the structuring of the course is a roadmap of a journey that you want someone to go on. And the goal is when they reach the end of the journey to have an epiphany of understanding and comprehension. Do you sort of get it? So, like, we want to take someone on a journey so that they can understand and move through different themes and concepts, but we want to link them together so that they're not all disjointed, so that each is a sort of like the following step on the journey. So, for example, if we understand this and we move back up, we have a look. So, we have an introduction, and then we go and discuss a bit about what is a course. So, understanding the theoretical framework of a course. What is the purpose of a course? What is the purpose for creating your course? Do you sort of get it? How learning has changed with technology. So we're creating this framework of what it is, okay? What is the purpose of it? How has how has technology affected the way in which we present the information and do what we do? Do you sort of get it? What are the difference between the different kinds of understanding? Do you sort of get it? So we're just creating this layered approach to where we're giving each step a new bit of understanding. Do you sort of get it? And then what we're able to do, well, is what we're able to do is bring people to conclusions, to logical understandings that should I present this information to you, well, you're going to know what a course is. You're going to understand the purpose of a course. You're then going to understand the purpose to your course when you're creating it. You're going to understand different types of knowledge, theoretical or experiential. You're going to understand, you know, the different models or two different course models that you can follow. Be it, do I want something that's graded and structured in the sense that there is an exam or a test, and that the purpose of the course is to overcome that test? Or do I want to structure it in the way that the purpose is to demonstrate or have a level of understanding or conceptual understanding within yourself of the information that has been presented through the course? Do you sort of get it? So, like, it's just how we lay it out and how we give information that builds upon each step. Do you sort of get it? So, like, how are we structuring the course or the information that we're presenting within the course to sort of step by step expand on the understanding to lead people to a conclusion of understanding how to do what they're trying to do? Do you sort of get it? So, like, the next area we're going to cover is understanding the effectiveness of interactive learning. So, understanding the effectiveness of the interactiveness between the understanding and then the doing. Do you sort of get it? And then we get into the different stages of learning. So the four stages of learning. So we'll go through them now, but understanding that we're not trying to have someone understand something in one go. There are four different stages to learning, and these stages are what sort of we all naturally go through, and this is the natural process of us understanding, conceptualizing, and then sort of like internalizing, and then being able to replicate or reproduce the result. So it's unconscious incompetency. So unconscious incompetency is the first stage of learning where we don't really understand what we're trying to do, and we sort of don't even understand what we need to understand. So it's sort of like the first initial exposure to new information or understandings to being able to then move through and sort of formulate our initial sort of conceptualization of what it is, what we need to understand, what direction do we go in to understand. Do you sort of get it? And then the next stage is conscious incompetency. So unconscious incompetency, we don't know what is even, you know, sort of like what constitutes the understanding that we are trying to learn. And now we move to the next part where I don't really understand what it is or how to do it, but I understand sort of what direction I need to go in to get what I need or to understand what I need. So if you think about it like this, unconscious incompetency, I don't understand concepts, I don't understand frameworks, I don't understand any of the historical information or knowledge, I don't understand how it's been done previously. Conscious incompetency, I have a basic understanding of, you know, conceptual frameworks. I have a basic understanding of theoretical frameworks. I have a basic direction of what I need to start learning so that I'm able to advance and understand it and conceptualize it at a higher rate. And I sort of have an understanding of who I need to learn from and how I need to go about approaching it. Do you sort of get it? So if we think about it like this, unconscious incompetency, I don't even have a compass. I don't have a understanding of what north, west, south, and east is. And I don't have an understanding of where I am in relation to, the direction or the destination that I'm trying to get at. Conscious incompetency, I now have a compass. I have a basic understanding of north, west, south, east. I have a general idea of where I am and a rough understanding of how I'm going to get there. And then the next stage is competence, conscious competency. So, conscious competency is where I now understand in depthly that I need to move north. Okay, I now understand in depthly the different what is west, what is north, what is south, and what is east of me. I understand exactly where I'm at, and now it's just a process of me moving towards it. Do you sort of get it? So conscious competency is when I can do it. So I understand the theoretical frameworks quite well. I understand the conceptual frameworks quite well. I understand the different or the historical information of what has been. I understand sort of what I need to do to succeed. And it's just that it takes a lot of conscious thought for me to do it. Do you sort of get it? So it's like if you think about learning how to play football. The first day I even am introduced to football, I'm unconsciously incompetent. I have no idea. There are people running. I don't know where do I run? Who do I run with? Who do I follow? What do I do? Like I'm just sort of out there looking around. Conscious incompetency. I'm now understanding the different positions and sort of where they are, and sort of I need to be in a certain spot around the ball and all of that. And I need to, when they run forward, I run with them forward. When they run back, I run with them back. I need to do this and that. Conscious competency is now I understand the rules of football. I understand the positioning. I understand the difference that's happening in terms of, when we're moving forward together as a line because it creates opportunity and openings and things like that. And I need to stay in certain positioning because that positioning requires the other team to stay in the same positioning. Do you sort of get it? And then the final stage is unconscious competency. So this is muscle memory. This is me just knowing how to do something. So this is like if you think about it, I've been playing football for, 10 years and all of that, and I just understand that when I'm watching the ball and the player with the ball, I'm also seeing the opportunities where there's openings and I'm positioning myself to be able to take advantage of those openings. So if we think about it like this, when we're thinking about the different levels of learning or the different stages of learning, unconscious incompetency, I don't have any clue about what's going on. Conscious incompetency, I have a bit of an understanding, but I don't really understand. Conscious competency, I know what's happening, but it takes a lot of focus. I can't focus on multiple things at once. Unconscious competency is now I have a high level of understanding of each of the different elements so that I'm able to just look, and then I'm able to look everywhere. I'm able to see more because it's requiring less synaptic, like less conscious focus for me to run thought processes because they're unconscious thought processes. Does this sort of make sense? All right. So what we next go over is understanding how conditioning works within memory retention and understanding sort of what we're trying to do when we're learning and developing, how we retain information and understanding to being able to sort of move through it and learn and develop at a higher rate. Does this sort of make sense? And then basically the next area we're going to cover in this course is stories and their ability to enhance learning. So, understanding how the use of storytelling or analogies allow us to transfer different experiences or experiential understanding with theoretical understanding. Do you sort of get it? How we use stories to amplify the or enhance how someone perceives what we are like explaining to them and what we are telling them and what we are teaching them. And then basically, we then go over how stories are used to transfer knowledge and understanding. Okay, so how do we use stories, or how have stories been used throughout history to transfer knowledge and understanding at a higher rate? If we think about it like this, prior to having a written form of communication, our traditions, our understandings of the world around us were all oral. So oral communication is the oldest form of communication. Then there's written communication and things like that. So we just understand that. And that finishes off this course. So I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much. Bye.